You heard it here first. At NME. If I'm not in the new one, someone's getting in trouble. Are you upset that you're not on camera? We can turn it around. Let's be on you. First time I met Danny DeVito was at the table read of the new Jumanji, and I think there was like a table of croissants that were there, and I just went up, and I'm not even kidding, it was like a meet cute. I think we both grabbed a similar croissant. He said, "Oh, sorry," and I was like, "No, you're Danny DeVito, you take that croissant."
Did you take it?
No, because I decided after I heard it was the last one, I ripped it out of his hands, and I went into the other room and ate it. I was not allowed to play video games as a kid. My parents made me do classical music lessons instead, so we were not allowed to really play them as kids, which made it so when I was a teenager at sleepovers and things, I was definitely not the coolest kid there because I could not play video games for my life. But if I had to be in one, I would love for like a day to be in Grand Theft Auto, just because I just think it would be really fascinating to walk around and say, like, why do you feel the need to throw people out of cars? Like, what's going on at home? And just emotionally analyze all the people in Grand Theft Auto. I think that would be very interesting. If I am not in the new Jumanji, Sony will be getting a call from me. A very angry, sobbing call. I don't know. I feel so lucky to be a part of these last two that, no, I'll be upset. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna do an interview answer. If I'm not in the new one, I'm gonna freak out. I am going to be so mad. I really wanna be in the new one because I love doing these movies. And Jake Kasdan is the greatest guy in the world. So, you heard it here first. At NME. If I'm not in the new one, someone's getting in trouble. Yes, there's a certain Shakespeare play that Ari Aster and I have agreed to never say ever again, and we'll just call it the Scottish play, because we were talking about it on set while we were doing the seance scene, which is a very emotional scene, but at a certain point we felt like I don't know how we got in a conversation about it, but we were talking about how it emotionally was similar to the Scottish play or something. Which is pretentious not to say the name, but if you had been there at this experience, you would be haunted too. We had this glass in our hand and it exploded in my hands. And everybody was there and everybody saw it. And Ari was terrified and so was I. And we're both very neurotic and very anxious people, and we're connected at the hip, especially on that movie, so we just decided, okay, and then we had to go say some lines from Midsummer Night's Dream to undo it because of our OCD craziness, and we think it worked. We pray to Payman that it worked. Nick Cage is, he has much grander, more amazing titles than just my favorite actor. Like he's almost to everybody one of the greatest actors who's ever lived, American or British or anything. He's just one of the best in the world. And so for me, working with him, I said to him on day 1 or 2, I had to do a scene where I got in a car with him and I had to freak out and start screaming. And I said to him before we did the take, I said, listen, freaking out in front of you is like doing a guitar solo in front of Jimi Hendrix. It's like, this is a lot of pressure because you're my favorite actor and all those things. And I guess what you'd be surprised about with Nick is that he's so gentle. And he's one of my best friends in the world now. Like we talk almost every day. Not just to brag, it's more that he and I connected on an emotional, deep level. And I just didn't expect him to be so kind and so gentle and so giving as an actor. And usually when you're doing, I feel like when you're doing scenes or you're doing a movie, you're always thinking about, well, on this take I did this, and this take I did this. And with him, I felt like he was like guiding me across the lake. And by the time I was across, I didn't even know what I had done in the takes because he was so good. He just was giving me so much. I didn't really think about what I was doing with him. Like I was so enraptured by him, and he's just the best. And he would always he'd want to like do a couple takes for himself, and then he just would want to spend a lot of time on my coverage where we could just play around because I had the crazy character who was yelling a lot. And he's the most. No, his character's kind of the quiet, contained.
Exactly. So you did the one that he.
I was the young. Yeah, I was imitating him a lot, and he's just the best. God, he's such a good guy and such an amazing actor. He's just the best. I love him. When we were doing the movie, there was this one. We were shooting like 3 in the morning one time. Do you want to take this back, or can I take this forever? I really want that.
Okay, so the
We there was this one speech where it ended up, I don't think it's in the movie, but it was a last minute thing, and we have this key, and I say, when I was little, my mom and my dad used to fight, and sometimes my dad would lock my mom out of the house or something. And he just started doing this voice at like 3 in the morning, right before my close-up. I was like, you dick, you're making me laugh before my close-up. He would say, when I was a kid, my dad used to lock my mom outside of the house. And he would do this, lock my mom outside of the house. And then we'd fight a lot. And he would do this voice always. Throughout the movie, if a day got tiring or whatever, he would just do that. And so right as we got on the carpet, he just said, when I was a kid, my dad used to lock my mom out of the house. And then I just burst out laughing. And then he kept his beautiful Nick Cage smile as I look like an idiot in that picture.
Great, it's fun.